Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm and Nursery YouTube channel. My name is Beth. We have a lot of new faces here, so welcome everyone. We are working on a 1950s greenhouse restoration. Now, this is at my home place where I grew up, and it's falling apart a little bit. The bones are still good, but there's a lot of things that needs to be repaired on it, and we started on this a while back, the last two videos, just kind of cleaning it out and seeing what we have. So today what we're planning to do is I have Riley here and Braden, and we have this absolutely stunning, beautiful day, clear skies, no wind, the perfect winter gardening day. And we are gonna start tackling the outside of the greenhouse, just kind of cleaning up some of the beds around it and kind of see where it takes us. It's kind of interesting because as we've been cleaning up, there's like remnants of brick pathways and things like that would be really fun to kind of put back together over time. And a lot of the things that are in these garden beds are just, either too overgrown and just a mess or self-seeded there and it shouldn't be there. So it'll be kind of an interesting redo through the spring and summer. It's obviously going to take me years to do this, but anyways, feels good to tackle it. So I'm going to get some gloves on, gonna see about getting some tools, a wheelbarrow and things like that. It's interesting because at this farm, we don't have all the things that we have on the flower farm. So I'm always like, oh, where's this tool? Where's that tool? And it's made me think that I need to invest in some tools and a few other things here on this farm just to make life a little bit easier. It'll come about in time, you guys. It's always, you want this instant gratification. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, society, television has made us feel like we have this instant thing that's just this beautiful, massive garden, and alas, real life. Right? All right, so off I go to work. Dig in. So in this garden, we have this really old lavender. It's kind of woody, overgrown. There's a couple of them here, more of them over here, because this gets a lot of sun in the summertime. And then we have this beautiful rhododendron. So you can kind of tell that things have changed, where that probably gets a little less sun. But that's been here since I was a kid when we moved in. There's like a sporadic Russian sage. There's just regular garden or, culinary sage right here. There's a bed of blackberries growing through here. And there's a clematis growing here, which needs cut back. I'll let Riley do that. She's the expert on clematis. But you can kind of, barely see through here. Look at all that ivy just growing up. It is pretty, but it just needs to go. It's so aggressive, and obviously I'll never get completely rid of it, but just controlling it would be nice. Walking along here, there's two little sections that or you could plant something there if you wanted to. I don't know if anybody has suggestion for it. Let me back up here for a second. Okay, so you can kind of see it's probably a little over a foot right there of bed space that you could do something really fun. And again, on this side, there's the bed as well. And then this used to have a brick path that kind of wound down and then to like a circle brick path, which we'd like to put back in. There is a butterfly bush, which I'm not sure what color this one is. I believe it's a yellow buddleia. Look at this laurel has just grown up. I mean, it's just like an English laurel. I'm gonna have to take that out. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. We'll probably have to cut it at the base. It looks like maybe the electrical comes in right there. There's a Pieris here, which is a beautiful white one. Love that. Not sure what this thing is. There's a lot of weeds. Look at that, you guys. Just so much. Another buddleia coming up, and I believe that one is a purple. Not totally for sure. There's, I believe it's gooseneck through here. And then this here is a lilac. And that is, I believe, just the normal purple one. This doesn't get a lot of sun, so it has a hard time blooming, partly because we have all these pine trees that have grown up and are huge next to this little greenhouse. So it makes it a little bit of a challenge. So right next to the greenhouse, I have this hedge of arborvitae. It's very old. Again, it was here probably planted back in the 50s at some point, but it goes alongside. So we need to actually cut it down a little bit, but that's like a huge winter project. We usually hire someone in to do that because you can tell it's just ginormous.
Hi guys. Okay, so last week I just cleared out the soil, try to even it out along the side layer here, and then today we're just gonna try and get this middle kind of like rejuvenate the soil, you know, take some of it out, and so it's not so high up.
So as Braden was saying, he worked really hard on pulling out all that soil. That center bed, it just needs some amendments added to it. So I have some of the live earth soil conditioner, and then we also got some just like compost manure, things like that we're gonna add back in, a little bit of water, and just kind of get the soil back into some health. And then we thought we might try and grow a few things in it this year. You know, this greenhouse has come a long ways from the beginning. I mean, if you saw it in our very first video of tackling this greenhouse, it's amazing. Now when you walk in here, it's like, oh, it's somewhat clean. I mean, we still have things to do in here, obviously. The other thing we have coming this week is that we do have the electrical company coming just to find out where the lines are to see if we can get power to, from the house, I guess it goes, to the little greenhouse, to the shed. There's like a work shed out here, and then on down to the boathouse that we're using as our shed this time of year. And plus the island, which there's a little island in the driveways that goes around. Braden is going to be tackling that project over the summer, and we're going to bring that to you, but it used to be this beautiful island with a water feature and all kinds of stuff. Well, Braden has a vision for it, and so I'm excited to share that with you this summer as well. That's the other big project we have here on the farm, is just tackling this greenhouse and then the island as well. So kind of fun here at the Orchard Heights place. So both the kids are here to help me. So we're gonna start in on just see if we can clear around the greenhouse here and see what we have.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm the designer here at Crowley House. I'm also Beth's daughter, and I'm going to talk about cutting things because that's my favorite job during the winter time, is the pruning. So I've been learning a lot about pruning. Today we're pruning a butterfly bush, or a bavalia, I think is what Beth called. A buglia? A buddleia. We're gonna be cutting a buddleia, or a butterfly bush, as I like to call it. Now, these you really want to cut back quite a bit, not all the way to the ground. I usually prune it to about belly button height, I would say. On me, I'm like 5'6". I don't know if that's, you know, so it's like below your shoulders is what I would say, because you want to encourage new growth and for it to go wider rather than taller, or else all your blooms are going to be at the very top. So this bush, I've already pruned one over there, which is a newer one that I pruned last year. I got to that one before it could really like establish itself. This one, as you can see, it wasn't pruned yet for many years, so it's had a lot of time to have that old growth. So it's a lot taller at the base than the other one is. Shyla, excuse me, I'm filming. It's very rude of you. Anyway, usually you want to do this in like early spring. I probably wouldn't typically be pruning until like March, end of March. For some reason this year we've had such a mild winter that we're able to do it now in January, which is great. We get to get ahead of the game. So I will be pruning this thing. Okay. You have all this like old growth. This whole thing, typically, we could probably cut out. It's not producing anything. It's probably dead. So this probably needs to get all cut out. I'm gonna leave that to the boys to do. But this guy, as you can see, last year I cut it about here, again, about chest height, to encourage it more to expand in growth, and it grew really well. It also helps encourage it to produce more sprouts from the base. Yeah, so I'm just going to trim this all back. I usually go down, so I'm gonna go down here. These are the wimpy automated cutters we got Mom because she has arthritis. But they're nice for pruning, I will say. Some of them I'm just going to trim all the way down. That's okay too. Look at this big boy. Wow.
Satisfying.
It's very satisfying. These butterfly bushes, this isn't really the best place for them. They typically need a little more sun, I would say. But it is what it is. This is a Pieris. which we use for our weddings and events and for wholesale. So I'm gonna leave it. These little bud guys here are going to be these beautiful little bell blooms this early spring. So we wanna leave it and then we'll prune it back when the blooms are coming. But really excited. We always are looking for Pieris. Seems like anytime we find like a good source of it, it gets taken away from us. But this is on our property and we get to control it. She's one of my favorites. Favorite spring blooms. She looks like little pearls. So these dried crispy looking vines, these are clematis vines. Even though they look crispy and dead, they're actually very much alive. Brayden did a good thing and chopped them to the ground. There's different types of clematis. There's evergreens and then there's, what are the annuals? Let's call them that. Because they come back every year, but they don't keep their leaves, okay? This one is an annual, right? But pretty much this type of clematis, you want to chop all the way down to the ground to encourage growth, because you'll actually get more blooms by cutting it down than by leaving it. This one has already produced some blooms here. You typically would probably want to cut this down. January is fine. You can even cut it down in like fall too. I would probably prefer fall, then you give the plant enough time to kind of chill, figure out its energy and produce more greens in the coming spring. But you can also do it in January. But this one, as you can see, has already produced some blooms. It should be fine. It just will be shorter. Remember, figure out what type of clematis you have and make sure to cut it down because you're gonna get a much better growth.
So we're gonna take a quick little break. Jason built a new chicken coop for the chickens that we brought over from the Crowley house, and we're doing like a makeshift run with a dog kennel that we also brought from Crowley house. So don't mind the lawnmower. You know, yes, it is January. We're mowing the lawn. We're actually mowing part of the vineyard. I gotta yell really loud.
You can literally just reach in here and grab the egg.
Or this.
Or this. This is the mom of that one.
made really good progress on this. It's not complete, as you can tell, but at least you can kind of see around and see what we're dealing with. Some of the plants I don't know what they are until spring, which will be kind of fun to kind of get in there and see, especially on the back side of the greenhouse. Braden ended up, you know how projects like this, you start on something and then there's something else that you just, oh, I'm just gonna do this really quick. So he ended up taking down a fence, which is next to the old work shed. And so it used to, I guess, maybe some animals or something like that, a dog. And so he decided he wanted to take that down. So I left it. He left me with this. So anyways, he went and did that. It's always invigorating doing something like that. So I wasn't gonna complain, because anytime a kid comes and says, hey, I'm gonna do a huge project, and they whip it out, and it's just great. So I'm just gonna tidy up. We're supposed to have a little bit of rain tomorrow, so I just wanna get this pathway kind of cleared up. And then I'm gonna head inside the greenhouse and work on that little bed before the sun sets. There's all kinds of things buried in here. I have no idea. I think this went to like an auction. I don't know. I have no clue. I think so.
So I was looking everything over, and this side of the greenhouse structurally seems okay. That's the side that seems to maybe have some points that when we go to start to re-side it, we might have to replace some 2x4s, some of the uprights.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a lot more moisture on this side, so we're going to have to try and figure out how to
Well, that's where it all
that.
leaks right through here.
Yeah, it's coming down the wall. The wall, you can see the moisture on the wall. Structurally, I think all our beams and everything are in good shape. We probably just want to go through and replace these slats that are used to screw the roof to.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're old, and if you try and just run new screws through there, they're not going to hold.
Oh, like
So
these ones up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll replace those, and then we'll work on the peak. But I think everything else seems like I think we can make it work
Okay.
without having to replace a whole bunch of stuff. So,
But did you see this? I think that you can see the water line that comes in there and then goes out.
right?
See the valve?
Yeah.
I think it comes out on the island. I know they had hanging baskets. You can see the little rings for that.
Right.
Okay, so to deal with this little spot in the ground, Braden and I dug down, and it actually just keeps going. There's nothing underneath it. We thought maybe it would go to like rock or something like that, but there's nothing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and rake up some of this loose debris that we kind of left and just pitchfork it a little bit to kind of loosen it. Obviously you couldn't take a tiller in here, and you really don't need to, because the soil is actually pretty nice. And then I'm just gonna kind of scrape off the top. Braden did some already. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of our conditioner, some soil conditioner. And then I'm going to add just a little of some well-rotted, aged chicken manure. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that in. And then we're gonna water this in and let it sit for a while. And then we'll figure out what we're gonna plant in here. Braden and I thought we might just do some lettuce mix. I don't know. I mean, I've been looking for signs of, you know, like mice or, you know, anything like that, and I really don't see anything. We've kind of gotten them under control since we've been here for the last 6 months. We kind of set out some traps. We obviously have the cats, so they're just doing their job, and it seems like we're pretty well under control. So we'll just see. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this raked out, get the amendments in, and see what we do with it. while the wind has kicked up and the rain has settled in again. I went ahead and put down my soil conditioner, a little chicken manure that's been sitting here forever, ready to put in the garden. Smells wonderful, you know. I couldn't find any tools that I would normally use to kind of work it into the soil. There's no rake and there's no pitchfork, and so all I have is a shovel. So I'm just working it back and forth the best I can. I'm gonna smooth it out with like a garden rake. It's gonna work. Just using what I have here at this farm, which I'm just making a list of all the things that I need to get and bring over here. Well, actually, I'll just need to get brand new stuff. So it's coming along. It's gonna take a little bit. Next, I'm just gonna water it in and just let it sit for a little bit and see if we can bring it back to life. It should work eventually. It's been sitting here neglected for so long that it's just gonna take some time and a little bit of love. Well, that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed that. Another look at what we're doing here. Obviously, it's gonna take us more than one time and it's really windy. I apologize for the wind, but it's Mother Nature, right? Okay, guys, until next time, much success in all you do and grow. We'll be seeing you shortly back here at Crowley House Flower Farm and Nursery, the Orchard Heights project, and the old greenhouse. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Also, if you would like to join us over on Patreon, I will link that below. We would love your support. This will just help us put out really fun videos like this and also help us get better tools. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So we would love your support. You can also join for free, which is really fun, and just tag along with anything that we put out, little inside details and things like that.